The affirmative first spoke and stated that government surveillance is invading privacy, with multiple agencies having access to government surveillance. I have a quote here from CNN that states, "The 21st century war is different and requires new ways and methods of gathering information. But what might not have been reasonable 10 years ago is not the same any longer. The constant armed struggle against the jihadists has adjusted our beliefs in what we think our government can and must do in order to protect its citizens. We need to be able to adapt to how the society works and the ability that our enemies have with the internet, and we need to take advantage of it." We also have one from the Washington Post Pew Research Center poll that despite the outrage expressed by some over the NSA's domestic surveillance programs, roughly 56% of Americans believe it is acceptable for the spy agency to secretly collect the telephone records of millions of Americans. Additionally, 45% of Americans say that the government should be able to go even further and monitor all online activity if it would prevent future terrorist attacks. The affirmative on the second point stated that there was misuse and misinterpretation of the information gathered by government surveillance. I have a quote here by the National Review stating that our intelligence people know phone numbers or area codes used by terrorists in various world locations. Wouldn't you want our intelligence services to know who in the United States called those numbers and area codes to examine the information and to determine whether those calls were innocent or not? I mean, I know I would. Another point that the affirmative made was that cameras and body cameras are detrimental to citizens. I have a quote here that's from the responsive community in 2012, that cameras are like other policing tools, such as the guns that police officers carry, wiretaps, and the ability of police departments throughout the nation to share data, and even police forces themselves. We accept this risk because the tools are valuable, and because we set up control systems that can help diminish that risk. Another statement that was made by the affirmative is that it goes against our rights to have the government survey our every move. A quote by the National Review as well shows that the warning by our founding fathers is the government's power for the common defense ought to exist without limitation, because it is impossible to foresee or define the extent of the variety of national exigencies, or the corresponding extent and variety of the means which may be necessary to satisfy them. Our founding fathers and Lincoln's teaching is even stronger when applied to the NSA. Its surveillance program violates no constitutional provision. It examines only the addressee and the sender on emails and telephone numbers called from. The Supreme Court has long held that such information is not privacy protected by the Fourth Amendment. It is completely within our constitutional right to survey for the protection of our citizens. Thank you.